7:56, we are back here on this gorgeous Wednesday morning. It is May 27th. Good morning to you if you are just tuning in. We are joined right now by a very special guest who's been dubbed the Ambassador of Peace. Her name is Isha, and a phenomenal book here, Why Walk When You Can Fly? And interesting insights come out of this. The key looking at this thing, I mean, we hear about, universality when it comes to themes, when it comes to happiness. What is stopping people from living in the present?
You know, we don't love ourselves, so we're not comfortable being with ourselves. So we're always looking for happiness in the future moment, when we achieve something, when we meet someone new, when we change or something external changes, then we think we'll be happy. But happiness, love, is a choice that we make in this moment. So firstly, we have to start loving ourselves. We have to be comfortable being with ourselves. We have to enjoy ourselves instead of constantly trying to escape ourselves.
You introduce all kinds of interesting facets, one of which I truly can relate to, the idea of accepting what is without judgment. And, in my life, I look at there's no right or wrong, there is a what is. And there's a couple other facets. Can you touch on those in terms of what people need to do to achieve that idea of loving oneself?
You know, firstly, we have to embrace our humanity because we have so many judgments that what's wrong with us. We think that fundamentally there's something wrong. And we just have to love ourselves unconditionally. And then when we start to see things that we don't like, that take us to sufferings or addictions, we start letting go of that. And what I teach is to expand internal peace and joy through practicing the system. And when you find this internal energy and peace within yourself, you can start letting go of destructive habits. And then you start creating what you really want in your life.
Yeah, I think that's key. The big question to ask ourselves, what do we want? Where do we want to go? And the interesting thing about you is that you work with all kinds of people, including some ex-guerrilla soldiers, and you've been in some high-security prisons. And I know we have some footage. Take us through this. You in Mexico working with the prisoners. How open are these people to accepting the messages that you relay?
You know, it's really beautiful because I go into very big prisons, and the men that come, I'll get probably 1,000 men, and they come totally by themselves, completely open, respectful, and they start to experience using the system, and it moves them so profoundly because they realize that they can change, that everyone can make a choice. Life's about the choices. Are we choosing for fear or are we choosing for love? And it's such a simple choice, and yet we're so complicated. Humans are so incredibly complicated. We live in our minds, full of judgments and fears, and when we just anchor in consciousness in our hearts, we start to see the simplicity.
And what's the biggest difference when you sit there looking at someone that has been incarcerated? What do you see as the biggest difference between them and you?
Nothing. We're all the same. We all just want love, and we just need to know where to go to find it, and it's internal.
And we were talking in the green room that it is essentially all about choice. The choices they made have put them in that place. How hard is it for people to break through the programs that they've been, they've come up with in terms of making those choices and embracing philosophies like this one?
Everyone can start being the love. Everyone can make new choices in their lives, letting go of addictions, destructive habits, places that lead us to suffering. It's a choice that all humans can make, and once you start making that choice, the universe starts supporting you in your choice. And it's as if everything external is like a big mirror. So when I change internally, the external mirrors something new to me, but when I'm full of rage or resentment or victimism, the outside reflects that as well. So all humans need to learn to love themselves, and we think we need to attain things, but ideally, once we start loving ourselves, everything else flows, and we start to move in joy in life instead of thinking that happiness is a future moment. It's this moment.
It can be right here, and all kinds of insights about how to achieve the power within in this book, Why Walk When You Can Fly. An excellent read. Lots of great ideas here. Isha, thanks so much for coming by.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Great stuff. We'll put details on the website, breakfasttelevision.ca. Right now, though, let's go back over to traffic with Michelle.
All righty. Thank you very much, Riaz. And we've got lots of problems in traffic.